Hey everyone, I am really excited to introduce a personal colleague of mine, Tiffany Billman. She is a real estate agent based out of Long Beach. See you guys, this is what happens live. Reno, Nevada.
A little bit different.
And actually, I met her through a childhood friend after stalking her social media, her business one to be exact. I realized that she had some really great tips on not only for social media, but for real estate agents. She has a really great grid, and I'll show you guys a little bit later on, and then share a couple of her Instagram stories that were so engaging that even I wanted to buy in Reno, and I live in California.
That's flattering.
Right? So I'm really excited to share her and have her share her personal experience in finding her niche in social media and having her grow her business solely off of social media, you guys. I kind of like interviewed her and I found out that most of her clients are social media based and referral based, which is great to hear and to test out if you're trying something new in your market that maybe you kind of want to get out of your comfort zone and try out. So Tiffany, thank you again for joining us, and please introduce yourself.
Thanks so much for having me. This is awesome. Great. A little nerve-wracking being live, not gonna lie, but thanks for having me. So I have been in the Reno community for about 20 years. I went to the University of Nevada, Reno, where I got my marketing degree. I dabbled in a lot of different things initially, so I'm sort of a Swiss Army knife. Ended up in real estate, using all my background, all my connections to kind of help me build my business. So I'm taking on this like very traditional industry in a very untraditional way.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. You guys, we've, especially because of COVID and everything that went on last year and like being quarantined, social media has turned into like a new up and coming rise for a lot of real estate agents to get themselves out there, talk about themselves, and pretty much be ahead of their competitors. So this is why today's topic was brought up. And before we have her dive into more about finding your niche, sharing some tips and tricks, and her sharing her personal experiences in real estate Instagram, I'm going to ask her a couple questions, you guys. And just so you guys know, today we're not going to do a lot of questions live at the end. So just make sure that you guys follow her. Tiffany, what is your social media account?
It's Tiffany Billman _ realtor.
And there you guys can direct message her and ask her any questions you guys have. She'll be more than happy to help you guys. So let's dive in on the questions, Tiffany. What is more important to you? You know, marketing your spheres, your current clients, or generating new leads?
Okay, so this is probably going to sound faux pas, but the nice thing about social media is that you can market to both of those leads at the same time. So for me, I work off of referrals and my SOI, kind of like what Jessica was saying. What social media does for me is it keeps me top of mind with my past clients for both their future needs and also for referrals within their sphere. That happens more often than not. All the while, I'm also providing information and clips on who I am to new leads. So I've had many clients find me off of social media outlets, but technically they're warm leads because they already know that I'm knowledgeable in the industry. They know that I know this area, the Reno, Nevada area, and that they also feel comfortable with me because they feel like they already know who I am. So you can really market to both at the same time.
That's true. It's a little bit of both. So I'm glad you brought that up. Now, number two, how do you get referrals? How do you get those currently in Reno?
So like I mentioned, I've been entrenched in this community for about 20 years or so, which ages myself, but I've been entrenched in this community for a while. So a lot of my referrals come from people I've already met along the way, but I consistently show up on my social media and I'm showing those connections that I've made throughout the years, that I'm in real estate, that I'm busy, and that I'm just basically staying top of mind. So that's how I get a lot of my referrals, is just simply being consistent.
And do you have any like tricks up your sleeve that you do to make them feel like special and comfortable, or just make them feel like that warm and fuzzy that you are their agent so that they can keep referring you?
Yeah, so I also, besides social media, obviously send out messages to them. Well, through social media, actually, I send out messages. I stay active with them on their profiles, commenting, sharing, liking their stuff, because they are in our community now as well. And you know, I try to keep my stories, and we'll say some of these things in as we go, but look, now I'm just blanking because I'm live. Well, Lisa, and I'm real. I am genuine on my pages. Let's just put it that way. I am genuine. I am who I am. I don't fake it. And I feel like that makes people feel comfortable with me.
So again, because I stalk you on social media, what I noticed that you do a lot of these closing treats. What are some of the closing treats that you do with like somebody that just closed with you? I love those cookies, by the way, but can you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I don't buy my closing gifts in bulk. I do them individualized to my clients. So I had one client, the cookies, Tots Treats here locally. I do them specifically. I had one client that was leaving to Germany, actually. She was selling her home. She was leaving to Germany. I made sure that we got plain cookies and good luck. She also had a dog, so I made sure that I got her dog some treats and some toys for the trip as well. I try to really individualize each gift for each person to make them feel special and not just like give them a knife set with my name on it, which is fine, but it just doesn't work for me.
Everybody has their own way.
Yeah.
This one of the cookies so cute because I see you post them often, and they're so personalized to that person, which makes them feel, you know, loved, I would say.
Yeah, and they're actually really good.
Yeah.
They're really good cookies.
Where did you say you got them from? They're in Reno?
Yeah, Tots Treats. She's a local girl here. She does them, and she does them specialized, whatever you need. So she's really great.
That's cool. And then how did Instagram help you reach your overall success last year with all the craziness that went on? How did it help you still reach your goals?
Okay, so as you guys know, 2020 was a rough year. And to be totally honest and transparent, because that's what I said that I do, I didn't do many sales for a few months during that time. So what I did do was I stayed active on my social media accounts during that whole time, and it ended up paying off big for me at the end of the year. Why? Because I wasn't doing much during those few months, but neither was anyone else. So everyone else was on social media as well. Every story I did had multiple comments on it. Everything from, hey, we're going to be looking to move in the future, to asking about a certain neighborhood or about market updates that I did. Basically, I stayed front of mind in front of everyone. I provided value. That's huge. And then that ended up making me the perfect agent for them to go to when they were ready to make the move.
That's great. Yeah, value, you guys, is the biggest thing that you want to provide to them, because they're going to be hearing from a lot of agents. They're going to be hearing a lot of stuff on social media, on YouTube, wherever they're searching. They're getting the information that they need at their fingertips. So you need to stand out and be the expert in your community, provide that value to them instantly. So I love that. And then what are you doing differently this year that has made a huge change in your overall social media appearance that is compared to last year?
So we're not that far into 2021 yet, but it's a work in progress. So what I am actually doing more of this year is I try to be more consistent with my audits. I'm stepping out of my box and I'm doing research on the new trends and how I can do them while still staying on brand and within my niche. I'm also working with teaming up with some local vendors. Reno is really all about supporting local. So we're going to do some giveaways to draw more traffic. And then this one's huge. I've also started to change my mindset on how I view these platforms. They're a tool to help me grow my business. They're not a burden. And I know a lot of people view social media as a burden. And to me, it's a tool. It's helped me grow my business. I need to look at it in a positive way.
That's right. Yeah, because there's a lot of different platforms. So it's finding one that works for you. I mean, Instagram is very popular, but some can be great at YouTube and creating videos every day. Mm-hmm. Some may be, more involved in like Twitter or Facebook. So there's a lot of different platforms. It's just finding that one that doesn't make it work. It's fun.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about that later too.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any like A and B testing? I know you kind of said, but do you have anything that you kind of decided to, let me test this out, like a new grid or some Instagram stories that you decided to maybe test out this year?
Yeah, so that's kind of where the constant audits come in for me. Do you have to do constant audits? No. You could do them once a month. You could do them once every 6 months. Here's the thing is that the algorithms are always changing. So I will sometimes change my grid. I keep my grid pretty much the same, but I'll change like a square to maybe something different to test it out. I have started to use, if you actually use Instagram, for example, if you start to use Instagram's tools, like the polls that you put at the bottom, it actually pushes you into a higher algorithm, which actually pushes your stories out further. So I get so many more reactions when I use Instagram's tools.
Yeah, so there's that's a great little note that you said. A lot of people may not know about those. They're there for a reason. They help you engage with your viewers. And I see you use those a lot, like the polls and the questions and getting people involved. And I love how you do that in your Instagram stories.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And okay, so I know that everyone's tired of hearing all these questions that I'm asking you. And they want to just know what can I do to find my niche and find that social media platform for me? So before I do that, you guys, I just want to share with you guys some of the social media stuff that she does in Instagram. So let me just turn on my screen really quick. You'll see us move on to the side. Oh, there you go. And this is her Instagram account. So again, if you want to follow her and ask her questions or, things that you were just kind of curious about, follow her here, ask her the questions here. She's going to be more than happy to help you guys. So Tiffany Billman _ realtor. And here you see, I love you guys. This is something that you might want to, mess around with a little bit, but do you see how she has this very clean, she has very specific icons. Also, what I liked about it is all her information is at a glance right here. Her email, her license number, and as well as her website. Because you are allowed with Instagram to add one website that you can direct traffic to. So some agents, of course, do their website only. I'm noticing a lot of people, when we do it on our social media, is we have a link tree, and that allows you to send them to the link tree and send them to multiple websites. If you have a blog, if you want to send it to Facebook, if you want to send it to your YouTube, it allows you to send it to multiple spots with one link. So just take a note of that. And then as I scroll down, you see her grid. It's gorgeous. I love how it's her dog. Who doesn't love dogs? What's your dog's name?
Ella.
Thank you. And then she's also adding, some information. What's very clean about it is that she adds a little bit of color to block off, and she keeps it real with adding herself at always, all the time. And of course, who doesn't like motivational stuff? And then let me share a little bit. You guys can mess with it and dive in and check on your own, but let me show you some of her stories. Let's see. So here, she has this. She's sharing an open house, herself, the mask at the bottom here. You see, she's asking questions, getting people to engage, showing her dog working. Who doesn't love seeing dogs on Gram? Who doesn't? Dogs and babies. People
like to see you're a real person.
Yeah, they want to be able to connect with you. Dogs and babies are the thing. And then
there's you.
Here I am. So here's some of her stories. And again, if you want to follow her and see what she's doing, go ahead and follow her here. But I'm going to click off now and let you take over and dive into how our agents and sales professionals can find their niche in social media.
Okay, so let's talk about having a strong brand and niche. Most of you guys probably have business plans, so you've probably already created a target market, and this is kind of going to go with that. That's kind of what your niche is going with. So a niche can be defined as a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. Sounds pretty similar to a target market, right? And I know in our industry, especially in the real estate industry, we have many regulations and rules, so make sure you're sticking to all those guidelines. But you also want to learn how to differentiate yourself from everyone else. So how do you do this? Who do you want to be in this industry? Evaluate your passions and your skills. Are you a dog lover? Are you funny? Do you like to do handy tips? Maybe a local expert, luxury. Maybe you're a little bit of one or two of those things. You still want to keep it pretty narrow. Once you kind of figure out that part of it, you need to figure out if there's actually a market for that niche. Like, is there a market for a funny realtor in your like in your neighborhood, right? So do this research with hashtags, look at competition. Those are huge. And then stick to your branding. Don't be distracted by the shiny new color or another agent who seems to be doing amazing. Keep on being who you are on this platform, because it will end up paying off if you stay consistent with your brand. Personally, I had a company create a strong brand for me based off of who I wanted to be in the industry. It's quite the process, but it was well worth it. They helped me create my colors, my logo, my theme. Everything obviously still goes with my brokerage. And like I said, make sure you're following those rules and regulations. But I made it I differentiated myself, because one of the most important things on these social media platforms is to be authentic, be who you are, because people can tell when you're being fake, and no one really wants to, I don't know, follow or take advice from someone who's being fake. Okay, so I wanted to talk about 5 tips to execute your niche strategy, because I feel like it's so important. Finding your niche is of course very important, but how do you actually execute it? So number 1 is find what platform works for you. Social media is not a one size fits all kind of thing. And this is going to probably be very counterproductive to what you've heard. You do not need to be active on all platforms. Okay. So for example, I wanted to start shooting videos for my real estate brand. So I created a YouTube account for it. I had uploaded about 10 to 15 videos. And in that process, I got totally burnt out. I didn't enjoy the process of recording the videos, editing and uploading. It was more exhausting for me, and I actually started to dread it. So I stopped. I have enough content on there now that people still find me, and I've done some deals with people who have found me off of my YouTube. But I decided that to put my energy towards another platform, pretty much. Something that I actually enjoyed, and I believe that it shows. Because real estate's hard enough. You don't need to exhaust yourself on something that's, I don't know, that you're exhausting yourself on, like I was with videos. And also this all comes circle to my other point is your content should be different on each platform that you are actively on. That could be exhausting if you're trying to be active on all of them, right? Have I done the whole copy and paste from my Instagram and put it on my Facebook? Yes, but is it the right way to do it? No, it should be slightly different on each one. So make sure you're allotting your time correctly. You could do virtual assistants. You could do, you could hire a team for this, but that can get really expensive. So it all kind of depends where you are in your career at that point. Bottom line is kind of like what Jessica said, post on outlets that you enjoy. It shows, people can tell. It'll be easier on you, and it'll be easier to stay on your brand. Number 2, create a plan. So personally, my main platform is Instagram, as we've talked about. So my process/plan includes using a grid. So I created a grid, as you guys could tell from what Jessica had posted on there, or just shown you. I schedule out time to create these posts for at least a week in advance because life gets busy. I pre-record videos of activities and showings that I've done for my stories, and I post them later. So that leads me to make sure that you have a part of your plan is make sure you have a grid to follow. Have a series planned. Figure out a campaign that you want to do. Schedule out your posts. Make a plan to set aside an allotted amount of time every week to upload your new content. There's certain platforms like Later, like see you later, Planoly, which is what I use personally, and Hootsuite. So those are all great platforms that you could set an hour or 2 aside a week, punch out a few, maybe even you punch out a month's worth of content, and you could put it all on there. And then making a budget So that should be a part of your plan, right? It's a part of your business plan. Are you going to want a virtual assistant? Professional photography, which I highly recommend. I do all of my photos on my Instagram are professional photographer, professional photography. Paid campaigns. Are you gonna, which LionDesk does, videography, contests. So basically on my page, I use my main profile grid to execute my brands, colors, and professional photos so I can schedule those out. On my stories, they're more my lifestyle. They're more real estate and lifestyle, so I do those on the fly. And I just started doing reels because audits. And that's going to kind of, for me, I think that I'm going to go with lifestyle and real estate as well. So they're going to kind of stick to kind of what my stories are. So let's go on to number 3. Consistency is key, right? You guys have all heard this. It's not anything new. Social media does not give instant gratification though. Yeah. So in fact, it can actually be very thankless, which can sometimes get you down or make you not want to keep doing something. However, take the little wins as they come. Do I get the most likes? No. Do I get the most shares? No. But what I do get is I get compliments all the time about how great my social media looks. I get friends telling me how they love my stuff, and that's how they get their real estate knowledge. And bonus is I get to stay top of mind, which means more referrals and return clients for me. So it's those little wins that I take and gobble up because you don't know when you're going to get it next. Another thing with consistency is key, and I kind of touched on this. I record videos of homes and post them later. We all know that this industry is sort of feast or famine, right? It could be crazy one week, and the next week you feel unemployed. Or at least I do sometimes. Okay, so what I do to keep up my content and the illusion that I'm always killing it, that I'm always doing a great job, is I record the videos of homes during my busy times and save them for later. People don't need to know that I'm not at that house right now. All they need to know is that real estate is always on my mind, and it should always be on theirs if they're following me. Okay, so number 4, we're flying through this. Be intentional. Set specific time aside to like, comment, share, and save. It can be so easy to get caught up in the mindless scrolling, and this is where people get really exhausted. So you want to make sure you have that plan and that you're being intentional. When you comment on things, this is important. When you comment on other people's posts, be intentional with what you're writing. Engage with them. Don't just do stars and hearts. Try to make it engaging. Have them have to comment back. This is huge because most likely then they're going to remember you, 1. 2, they're probably going to follow you back because this social media is all about giving. Give, 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 right? So the more that you give, the more that you'll get in return. Support others in your industry and local businesses. Now, I know we're in competition with each other, right? But I have so many real estate friends. I enjoy sending them those little memes and doing those different things because there's enough room for all of us. And the more that you share and the more that you engage with those other people in your industry, the more networking you're doing ultimately. Okay, and number 5. So this is something that I said that I was doing more of. Perform audits. Okay, what is working? What isn't working? Did your YouTube video that you did talking about the winter activities in your area, did that do really well? Did it get a lot of views? We'll do more of that, right? Because that's working. Are the posts with just sold or just listed not driving traffic? Maybe that's not working and maybe it's time to change. Do your posts make more sense? Do they get more activity in the morning, afternoon, or evening, or somewhere in between? You have to follow those trends. Algorithms are always changing, and so should you. Do research on what other agents are doing. Okay, so that's a great way to figure out what's trending. But the most important thing out of all of this is to make sure that you're staying on brand, that you're staying in your niche. And yeah, those are going to be the best ways for you to implement this social media strategy.
I loved your tips. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for taking the time today with us and sharing those 5 tips on finding your niche in social media. And you guys, test this out. If you're not trying something new, I always say, a new year is a new way to try something new because that's the only way to grow. Try something out of your comfort zone so that way you can reach your goal with something different. And then 3 is always be ahead of the trend so that you know what you need to be doing, you're moving so that your team and yourself are always on top of it. So these tips are amazing, Tiffany. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to see all of you guys trying this out this year. And if you guys try any of these tips, make sure to tag LionDesk and Tiffany on social media so we can see what you guys are doing and checking it out. So we can also share it with our social media. Again, cross-promoting is also another great way to make sure that you guys are staying ahead of the trend. So we wish you guys the best, and we're really excited for 2021. And you guys have a great day. Thanks, Tiffany.
Thanks.